well, the reality of our lives is that we're making terrible, terrible mistakes that have consequences. The universities, of course, there are no consequences to anything that we do. They can do anything they want, including injecting chaos into nature, including trying to ignite atoms on fire or whatever. They say there are no consequences. They are God. But of course, that's not true. It's not even sort of true. It's just a lie. And when we look at the reality of our lives, we want to remember the things that are important to us, the things that cause our lives to disintegrate into a virtual hell or a real world hell. And there are many. One of them, of course, is plane rides. You go on a jet plane ride. How many do not go on a jet plane ride today? Globally, there are 100,000 plane rides a day, going 1,000 miles or so. And the average plane ride, the amount of fuel that is consumed is roughly releasing 2 million BTUs per ride, per 1,000 miles. It's 2 million BTUs per hour a minute. Anyway, it's 5 billion BTUs for a 5-hour ride. So it's a billion BTUs an hour flight. So that is important because not only does it release the pollution and all the fuel that is consumed, but it's global warming. And not only is it global warming, but they fly in the ozone layer so that they can burn ozone to burn their fuel. And so we're losing enormous amounts of ozone every day because of jet plane rides. And the reason that we want to be concerned about ozone at this point is because that according to NOAA data or NASA data, the ozone layer is just about immeasurable at this point in time around the world. And that's because of jet planes. They're consuming the ozone with their flight. You are consuming the ozone with every flight you take. That's just a fact of life. At 100 million or 100,000 plane rides a day, 365 days a year, you can calculate that out. Every ride has a cost. And of course, if you think ozone doesn't matter, ozone eliminates or reduces the risk of radiation poisoning, that is from the sun. The sun produces enough radiation to actually boil our skin and create all kinds of skin problems for us, skin cancers for us, and it does so for plants and animals alike. The entire planet is realistically threatened by the loss of ozone. So it matters. It doesn't matter whether you fly or not. It matters that we fly, because we are 9 billion people. If you take a plane ride and multiply that by 9 billion more people taking a plane ride too. I mean, after all, if you can do it, why can't they? So it matters whether or not you have ozone. It matters whether or not you take a plane ride, because there will be no ozone left if the plane rides continue. 100,000 plane rides a day going 1,000 miles. A billion BTUs per ride on average. So global warming is real, because we multiply by 100 million people more to feed each day or each year. So 9 billion people. At 1% rise in population is 90 million people. That's the math. 90 million people. It matters whether you have a child or not. It matters whether you die or not. It matters whether you live or not, because the end result is we all have to have food, we all have to have water, and we all have to have resources and a place to live and all that. And of course, every single person, every single human being that arrives on this earth needs that and wants that and will do what they have to do to get that. And that means that there will be no habitat for anything else on earth. There will be no food for anything else on earth. We will eat everything that there is on earth, and then we will start on ourselves, because there's nothing else left. And of course, we are already one person on every single acre of agriculture that exists on the planet. more than one person. So we're dependent on the oceans. And of course, you are destroying ocean life. You are, chemicals of all kinds and plastic of all kinds and everything they can think of all kinds is ending in the ocean. Plus, they have satellites to track the fish, and you have big trawlers, so they don't leave a single one, which means they can't repopulate, and that means that all the predator fish die and everything else. And global warming of the ocean is real. It's not just flood and what have you that you are experiencing now, just the beginning of it. You are going to kill yourselves. You are creating your own hell. You're creating your own hell because of the things that you do, the things that you refuse to do. Even your Bitcoin. Your Bitcoin requires, I think it's 1,000 watts or 1 kilowatt. In other words, a heater that runs an hour. Your heater runs an hour to accomplish a Bitcoin transaction. In other words, that's global warming. Think of all the transactions that go on, all the electricity that is used for a Bitcoin transaction. That could be, powering a car or something, an electric vehicle or something. Just reducing your electric bill. Think of that. Think about all the inflation that exists. Just in America, the world has over, a quadrillion. I think it's last time I looked, it was 1.2 quadrillion dollars in what do you call it, derivatives, and that's just the world. $1 quadrillion. That's like $14,000 per human face on the planet. Although that may or may not be quite correct, but it's somewhere in there. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Because all of the money is a lie. Every part of it, every bit of it is a lie. And why does it matter? It says, well, I just take my money and go down and buy a car. Because it's real. Isn't it real? It's real. But it's not real. Because the fact of the matter is that all money is resources and the labor that it takes to get those resources to you. And of course, without resources, we have no wealth, we have no money, we have only poverty and tragedy and disgrace. And so we are, in fact, tragically impacting the planet. It's a finite planet. There's only so much of anything, only so much. So if you're taking everything, you're taking it from the future. So the future doesn't have anything. So you're assassinating your own child by taking everything and just to throw it in the garbage. Look at your garbage mountains. Look at all the trillions of tons of toxic waste that you produce and throw away and inject everywhere around water supplies, and everything you do is a tragedy. Everything you do presents a hell. Everything you do, everything you believe is part of, university does. They're the experts. They get to decide everything they do. And of course, they're the creator of plastic and so on. Plastic is a problem. It's a big problem that we don't have to have. There was no such thing as plastic 100 years ago. There was no such thing as plastic, which means that we didn't need it. We don't need it today. We can do without it. And so, it's a matter of choices. And one of the big choices, of course, is that you have to stop overpopulating the earth. And that means that you have to have birth control. There's no such thing as saving the children if you don't stop having children. Because the world cannot stand it. The world will not survive it. And neither will any other living thing on earth. It will not survive it, because we are the human population that's going to make the difference of whether or not we live or let this world die. And that takes us with it, which is extinction. So I've been, talking to you for 50 years. And for 50 years I've been telling you, don't let them ignite atoms on fire, because this is a planet. They want to burn atoms for fuel, just like the sun. The sun is not magic, as their fantasies of university expertise claim. It's not magic. It's a nuclear fire. It burns atoms. It sucks up the rock and burns that as atoms, because atoms have energy in them. And it's that energy that becomes our heat as the sun warms the earth. And we get only a little bit of that, and we're 94 million miles away. And if we didn't have ozone, we would be radiated to death. So we have to have ozone, and we cannot have them igniting atoms on fire because they can't control it, because the whole planet is made out of fuel, and we can't even tolerate the radiation from it, even if they did ignite atoms and were able to control it, and they can't. The entire planet is made out of fuel. Now, if you were to ignite, a great big puddle of gasoline underneath your feet, ask Hitler whether the fire just magically disappears. It doesn't. So, everything that you do has a consequence. And unlike the university diploma, which says, we are God, you can't tell us nothing, we are God. And of course, the public says, TV didn't tell us that, so we don't know. You can't tell us that. The TV didn't say it. So we can't believe it. You're fighting a losing battle. All the trash and all the counterfeiting. You're just keeping people, the thieves in business, with accepting the inflation that is going to, corrupting and controlling and destroying the nation itself of this America. You're all but done because you're in poverty. You don't know it yet, but you're in poverty because the end result is either you stop or there will be no resources, and if you stop, there is no money because the numbers are not money. Numbers are resources, and that's the only reason that the America that you know of actually provided a resource, provided wealth to you, is because it had resources. That's why the people came and killed off the Indian nations with genocide, because they wanted the resources. More. And of course that was back when there was only 1 billion people on Earth. 9 billion more of us now, or 8 billion more. And it has to end somewhere, or you're going to be extinct. Think of it, you think Trump is going to save you. What rich man ever saved you from anything? They only want more, and they only want to be the God of kings, so that they can be, they own everything. You think that they're going to help you with agriculture? They're not. He's done with tariffs and stuff. To hell with you. It's just like the Vietnam War. Well, I don't care. It was Johnson. He didn't care about the war. He had other things on his mind. Trump has other things on his mind. And so does everybody else. Leaders are leaders. Either we have law rule for us, which means that you don't get to decide for me. We will all decide this together. And with limited capitalism, which is we vote on what the poverty rate will be, what we allow as this is the bottom line, and what we allow as this is the maximum amount of income you can make in a year. I don't care if you make it in a minute or in a whole year, but this is it. This is all you get. There's no more billionaires, and there's a limit to how much property you can own, and so on and so on. So there's 10,000 things that you do wrong. All of them are because the university brought you here. All of them are because university made you believe that you're actually doing something other than stealing everything they can get. Stealing everything they can get. That's just what they do. As is, your Medicare and stuff. $5 trillion goes to healthcare in this nation, roughly. And that means $50,000 each per 100 million workers. 100 million workers contribute $50,000 to pay for health care in this nation. And of course, they don't. They just counterfeit the money. Let the government pay. That's what they say. That's the answer of the university. Let the government pay, but we are, of course, the government. And of course, what we pay with is resources, and what the resources say to us is that we're going to kill off every single child there is on this planet. And of course, the rest of the world does the same thing, but they, follow you could say. And you are a tragedy. So I'm telling you now, just because I need to, that you're killing the world, you're creating your own hell. That's the facts. You have to wake up or you won't be a planet anymore. There won't be any life anymore. There won't be any oxygen because you burned it all with fossil fuels. There won't be anything that you want to live for, to your shame.